So good news, everyone. The check marks are also getting purged, which is fun to see, and I thought we'd enjoy. I know it's a bit of fluff, but I like a bit of fluff.
Hey, I'm always happy to see our enemies suffer.
Yeah. So we'll start off just with a mention, of course, of something on the website. So this will be Giovanni Gentile's The Doctrines of Fascism book club I did with Carl, which, these people will endlessly scream about fascism. None of them have ever read anything the fascists have ever written about what their own thoughts are. And if you'd like to be more intelligent than a checkmark, all it will take
Not
you is an
hard.
hour.
Yes, really not hard.
Yeah, not hard, but if you'd like to beat the FO on this subject too, 1 hour, it's all it's worth, and go and check it out on Lotus. Otherwise, we shall begin, because we'll go to the first tweet here, being that Musk decided to make a statement. Going forward, any Twitter handles engaging in impersonation without clearly specifying parody will be permanently suspended.
Just to clarify, I'm pretty sure this was a rule that's been on Twitter for basically forever. He's just enforcing it a bit more strictly now.
So the rule was that they'd send you a warning and be like, oi, stop doing that. And and you'd say, all right, fair enough, or not.
You put your hands up and go, all right, you caught me.
So this is the reasoning that was given for why Milo was de-verified, which doesn't seem true.
Who was Milo impersonating?
He changed his some article came out slandering him from like Vice or something. So he changed it to the journo who did it for a laugh. Yeah, I think he had parody in the title or whatever, so he was like, I'm not doing it, I'm not getting rid of the joke, because the joke's funny. And he lost his verification over that, that's what Twitter say, but I don't believe they care, at least back then. Whereas now, Elon's saying, anyone who does that, permanent suspension, no warning, go to hell, because I actually want the verification to mean something, and I'm charging money for it. So there's the reasoning. Very sad for Count Dankula, of course, being that he can never impersonate Donald J. Trump or another Supreme Court justice, so very cringe. They're having to put parody in his own title, which is annoys very well.
This is the pain that comes with success.
Yeah, suppose so. But, the checkmarks didn't take kindly to that, because, they wanted to piss around and find out. They didn't think the rules applied to them. You have someone here responding, I love how all these blue checkmarks who have been advocating greater censorship for years are suddenly citing Supreme Court cases to maintain that any removal of a fraudulent account would violate First Amendment principles. This being the idea that if you ban someone who is verified, if they're impersonating someone else, then bye-bye, even if they're verified. And some leftists is like, well, this is an infringement of free speech. And it's like, no,
Since when did you care?
No, but infringement isn't First Amendment law either. Like, if you impersonate another individual in day-to-day life, that's also a crime. It's identity theft.
Well, I mean, let's go even further than that. I mean, it's a private company. They can do what they want.
Painful bollocks, but that's the rules they wanted to live under, so they can die under it. And Kathy Griffin was the first person to kill herself in this example. If you scroll up here, you can see Kathy Griffin decided to rename herself Elon Musk.
Oh no!
No parody in the name, so banned permanently.
Just straight down,
there
like swatting a fly.
There's your 2 million followers.
Particularly
gone.
Annoying fly.
Why did you think you could do that? Why did you think you could get away with it? Nothing would happen.
I mean, she got away with a lot, though, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, not anymore. Bye-bye. Although, Elon responded to all this, very funnily, as he always does, which he says, actually, she was suspended for impersonating a comedian. But if she really wants, she can have the account back for $8.
Funnier routine than anything I've ever seen from Griffin.
Yeah, it's also, okay, that's a neat way out of it, though. It's like, if you get banned, just pay the $8, and you can have your account back. Just rename your account back to what your name was. That's the deal. And if you ban it, if you break the rules again, we'll ban you again. You can pay us another $8. And we'll keep taking the $8 until we got 80 million bucks every year coming in. But if we go to an account, which seems to be her, is her demanding to have her account back. Can't verify this is her, of course, but I suppose that's the point. I demand Elon Musk, aka Mr. Free Speech, reinstates my account. 2 likes. Used to have 2 million followers.
I mean, they think that they've got such a blow against Elon if they just say that he's the free speech guy.
Yeah.
That's the First Amendment doesn't really apply. Sorry.
No, but also the First Amendment doesn't protect impersonating other individuals either.
No.
That's what that previous Twitter argument was about. If you follow over this account, I don't know if this is her, but it seems to be. Like, the description is just like, banned by Elon Musk, this is my alt. Could just be some shitposter, which, if you are, good meme.
I did see that George Alexopoulos has also changed his name to Kathy Griffith Parody.
Yes.
Big capital letters, Parody.
Following the rules. Someone else didn't decide to follow the rules. I'm Tom Brady, I break the rules. Anyway, if we go to Ethan Klein, who decided to rename himself Elon Musk. No parody in the name, but he did decide to put parody account in his images around him in the bio, which wasn't the rules. So, what do you think happened when he put out this tweet saying, people are going to say the N-word on Twitter. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to accept for the cause of free speech.
Was it that Ethan was able to get away with holding himself, not holding himself to a standard he holds everybody else to, like he always does?
I mean, even this tweet is comical. It's just like, Elon Musk just wants to say the N-word. That's why he thinks free speech is. Like, Ethan, you're on camera saying NF.
Many times in a row.
Can't say those words.
Well, wasn't it the exact term he used to describe that word, mouth butter? It was just so smooth. It rolled off his tongue so smoothly.
Yeah. So, just shut up, you moron. Whatever.
If you're going to get banned for trying to impersonate Elon Musk, and you're going to throw out some absolutely epic dunks right before you do, sure, you could do better than this, Ethan.
No, you couldn't.
Well, yeah, true.
We go to the next one here. We can see there's people pointing out that Ethan thinks we should turn over free speech rights because some people might use a slur he used publicly, repeatedly. Also, it's the same hack that, him being a hack, it's also the same bit he stole from Count Dankula as well, which is totally true from actual Justice Warrior there. But also just the ridiculousness of being like, yeah, free speech, but swear words? What are you, a Nazi?
Well, you might have to say nasty things under a free speech situation. I mean, not sure about this anymore, guys.
Profanity is protected speech under the First Amendment.
Ethan Klein, who also constantly, whenever people say about how anti-free speech he is, brings up that I protected free speech back in the YouTube days. Come on.
Spoken about that. But if we go to the next one here, you can see a suspended account because he's gone. He's banned. Bye-bye.
And nothing of value was lost.
No, the more meaningful point is, why did any of these people do it? There's a few others as well. But why did Kathy Griffin and Ethan think they could just do this and nothing would happen? It's because they're used to being on top. They're used to having no consequences apply to them. And even if they did, Ethan would just call up his best friend Susan at YouTube and have it fixed. Whereas now, no. No, the lords and ladies situation in which you have to be a privileged elite to even have the fact that you are the person you say you are on Twitter.com is gone. Your club is dead. It's over. But instead, the verified checkmark means literally nothing, except that you are who you say you are.
Sorry, are we pulling down the Twitter aristocracy?
Yes.
Is that what's going on, right? Viva la revolution!
100%. That's exactly what the system was before.
I'm happy for it.
The entire system before was you could get in the club if you were the right kind of person, and if you weren't, you couldn't. You just couldn't. And now it's, are you who you say you are? Premier $8 to prove it. All right, have a good day. like every other service on Earth that isn't running an aristocracy for some goddamn reason.
We'll get onto it in the next segment as well, but there seems to be a lot of evidence to suggest that people who had check marks might have already paid for them in the past, and just
$1,000.
Yes, roughly $15,000, but $8 is just way too little because now the little guy can get verified as well.
Yeah. If we go to the next link here, you can see his podcast account. He's whining about it on here, which is actually ban evasion. So also this should be purview for a ban as the rules are written. So there's that.
I'm sure he can justify it by saying, "Oh, the intern runs it" or something.
No, because when we ran the account for Carl when running for the Southwest in the EU elections, we were banned. Carl had no access to the account. We never gave him the password. We wouldn't even tell him the password because we were like, no, you'll get banned. And they banned me and John from running the account. It was like, literally had nothing to do with the person who was banned.
Brilliant.
Other than we were covering the campaign we were running, but too bad. So, no, the rules are applying as they apply, or at least should do. There's also a guy who impersonated Andy No, who decided to put out the, yeah, I did that Atomwaffen S from his account. This is some leftist reporter. Okay.
Oh, The Intercept.
Yeah. He's banned now. So, bye-bye. Again, people who thought this wouldn't happen to them. They would break the rules, nothing would happen. It's like, okay. Well, now he's banned. I mean, permanently. Goodbye.
He effed around and certainly he found out.
Yeah. And the thing is, all of this, let's say, a drama or whatever, this is all circling only in political circles, because you must remember, the lords and ladies aristocracy of the verified checkmarks and the power Twitter had was not the mass user base. It was the fact that they had a monopoly on political arena talking. The fact that all the MPs, all the congressmen, all the senators, all the government departments were all on Twitter.com. And they weren't exactly going to make an account on, Gab anytime soon. Not only because of their political prejudices, but because they also liked it being an exclusive club and were happy to go along with that situation. And now that monopoly on Twitter.com seems to have died. I suppose we'll see how it all goes forward, but that is a reality, which I'm very interested in. Because, yeah, your club is over. None of the MPs or senators or anything have noticed any of this, nor do they care. They're just in it for the ride. Just soul-crushing politicians. But
I've seen a lot of blue check marks and a lot of lefty people that I know going on to one called Tribal and other such places.
This is the activist base, which there'll be some split there, but no one cares. because the de facto reality of where is the power is amongst those institutions, which the right has learned that lesson. This is just a description of what is. Just the right learned this lesson from being banned from Twitter.com and then had to go to other places. And one of the things, they built success. I mean, Gab is a success, Getter is a success. But one of the things they are missing, and they know they're missing, is that institutional foot in the door. The fact that they don't have every lord from the House of Lords, or
the fact that they don't
MP.
have the actual government tapping them on the shoulder, asking them to influence
Essentially
things.
giving them free money. Like, it is a disadvantage that the right activists have who have been banned, whereas the left activists have never had this before, and now they're learning it the hard way, so that's good to know. We go forward as well, we can see this one, which some guy is whining about the fact that, as he says here, one of the peasants, I was like, yeah, that's how you talk about us, attempted to sign up for the new paid influencer checkmark, a conspiracy theory influencer QAnon John. And it's like, okay.
Alright.
Literally, so what? Like, sure, I don't believe in any of the QAnon stuff. Okay, fine. Like,
You still don't have to listen to the guy.
But he's saying he is who he is. I believe him. He's paid the $8. Count checks out on the credit card. What, you think he's not who he is? You got any evidence for that? No. You're just upset. You're just upset he's getting into the club. And speaking of which, the media have decided to get very upset about all of this. We have Vice posting some coke. Being verified on Twitter actually sucks. You don't want it. Don't sign up for it. No, it's terrible. Please don't. I like being in my club.
Well, I mean, as the verified checkmark generally indicates, previously, it won't anymore, potentially, but it generally indicated alignment with people I hate, and also possibly just an IQ check. Yeah, it must have sucked, because everybody knows you're a moron.
But this is some person at Vice, just some rando who is whining about it. And their perspective actually is somewhat true, I imagine, for them and in their life, because they are just a random nobody at Vice. They write, Twitter verification also bestows a kind of negative visibility on the platform. There are obvious requirements for getting verified. There aren't. It's just that being cool or important or official has gradually stopped being one of them. So,
Wait, being cool?
yeah, but this is the
What
point.
does that have to do with any of the others?
Her complaint is that once upon a time, back when Twitter would verify people like Milo, because he was who he said he was, and therefore give him the checkmark, he gives a crap, that system changed, and instead, it was an exclusive club of the boring establishment shills.
Or as she liked to think of it, the cool kids.
Well, she thought of it in those previous terms, where it was actually just anyone who was doing a thing and could show you their ID. That's how the system used to work. And then Twitter deleted that system and said, we'll be verifying who we wish, which became people they like. And yeah, when she joined, it was like that. It was crap. It was just the club. Which
She joined the cool kids club.
Yeah. It's mortifying to admit it, but I envisioned the blue check as an entrance to an elite club where I'd rub virtual elbows with actually famous people.
Oh.
No, instead you got an activist club of elitists. You got the boring people who are not interesting, but instead are there because, we're all friends. That's literally all it is.
I mean, I like that she admits the reasoning for most people wanting the blue check mark.
Instead, it turned my timeline into effing LinkedIn. Yeah, it did. Again, that's all it became. It had nothing to do with reality about who's who. It just had to do with networking.
I think I put my tiny violin down somewhere. I must have misplaced it.
I wanted to be verified like Rihanna.
I could have been a star!
Now I'm verified like a local news reporter in Wisconsin begging for permission to use someone's photo of an open candy bar for a story about fentanyl. Yeah, you are a just know-nothing reporter. Like, you're not interesting. The thing is,
a nobody, correct.
the guy in Wisconsin's actually doing good work for his community there, in the example you give. Like, he's asking for permission to use a photo for a story about fentanyl destroying his neighborhood. Whereas you whine on Vice. You're utterly worthless compared to this, Wisconsin reporter you're making up in your head, as if he's lower than you. Like, no, he's much better than you. You're garbage, of all things. But it's also an accurate description of the system, how it's worked, because why the hell is Lord Miles not verified?
And we all know it's him.
Yeah, like, he blew up, he was a major figure.
And for one, he doxed himself.
Yes.
If that isn't enough for verification, what is?
But it's the point of, like, I know Lord Miles has made several applications to the verification system as well. It's definitely him. There's no question about that. He also blew up at the time of the Afghan takeover. That was probably the peak of, when he was floating around in all the news stories. And, well, that's a perfect time to verify him so everyone knows it's the right guy and not some parody account or someone impersonating him. And he never got one. So, yeah. It's literally a club of people they like. They don't like Lord Miles because, he says things they don't like doing. Anyway, we'll move forward because we have Elon making some further updates on all of this. Twitter needs to become the far most accurate source of information about the world. That's our mission. 500,000 likes. Jack gets upset about that. Accurate to who? And he's like, well, reality. Not subjective truth, because that doesn't mean anything.
Not whoever's just paying you at the time, Jack.
No, and instead it should be a community notes feature, as he calls it, instead of Birdwatch, because Birdwatch sounds creepy, and it does sound creepy. That's what it was called before.
True.
Big Brother is watching. Anyway, but
Big Bird is watching.
Yeah.
Giant yellow chicken looming overhead.
If you get the next one here and scroll up, we can see a guy who gets very, very upset about this. He's very, very upset that Elon wants to make the reality, and says, and to do this, I'll let anyone who gives me money appear to be a legitimate source of news, rather than just ensuring all legitimate sources of news are confirmed to be who they say they are. Like, yeah, and Elon's perfect response, you represent the problem. Journalists who think they are the only source of legitimate information. That's the big lie. Yeah. You guys are horrible. Like, you took this new age system of the internet, let's say, specifically twitter.com, and just being a platform where information is spread, and this is a revolution in all of humanity. Like, I can't pinpoint enough. Like, if you want to look at the history of information exchange, like, the internet and social media is really something. The fact that literally anyone can share information and it can be read by everyone on the planet for the cost of an internet connection. You think about trying to do that when you've got a printing press.
It is completely insane. Just completely revolutionise the way that we communicate with one another, and not always for the best.
But it also allows literally us to fact check each other in real time, see if something's true. Also access to all information without any gatekeepers keeping us out of what's true. And that's a problem. Why? Because we're the ones who are meant to tell you what's true. That's our job as the press. That's their opinion of themselves. This is this checkmark here. Yeah, you are the problem. Elon is exactly right. And if we go forward, we can see just the memes of this. Rachel Maddow, when Twitter verification could be brought for $20, people won't know who should listen to. This is how democracy dies.
Democracy, no.
Democracy is when you listen to the approved source only. Allah Suri al-Bashar. I mean, like, you literally sound like Bashar al-Assad telling us that the only approved source is the government source, the establishment source. That's the only way you can get information. And if they say it's not true, it's not true. Don't believe your lying eyes.
Pretty sure Thomas Jefferson has a relevant quote to this, but something about free and open press. Who cares?
Whatever. Some old dead white man.
Oh yeah, he probably owned slaves as well. I mean, he did, to be fair.
But we go to the next one here. We can see mass Twitter layoffs before the US midterms could be a misinformation disaster. Warn the Guardian. Oh no. Oh, information might be freely exchanged. You can't control it, like the Pope. Yeah, you guys are literally the historical censors of our time. You are the ones freaking out that the printing press has been invented and just anyone can print books now. Yeah, they can. Well, what happens if the book has something wrong in it?
Can't be having them plebs writing no books now, can we?
What if there's anti-Catholic books being written? Yeah, there will be. There'll be Bibles in English. Get used to it. Don't know what else to say. And also, if we go to the next one, we have the news that, of course, the checkmarks are finally being dished out for some lads. Apparently, it's only available in the United States, and the process is slow because, well, you also had to downsize the company, didn't you?
Well, he fired like 75% of the whole staff.
Oh, it feels good.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I think the table just lifted an inch or two.
It's getting even better, though. It's not just 75% of the staff. We go to India. 90% of all the ill Indians work for Twitter.com. Get the next link here. You can see 90% of Twitter employees in India. Gone.
That's right. He's just removed all customer service phone companies. That's what he's done. He's just fired all of them.
Yeah. I don't know how much these Indians were getting paid. Presumably, if they're at the customer service level, it probably wasn't worth it.
Don't worry. There'll be like 3 million other companies in that country that they can go join instead.
Yeah. But India does have a huge tech industry, and if they are hiring engineers in India that you don't need, well, goodbye. Don't need you. Bye-bye. And in which case, learn to dig or code or something. Well, not code.
Learn to dig.
Well, learning to code's not going to help them.
How long's that going to take? Get shovel, start dig.
It's something that was beneath them, remember? They were going to do anything like that. Anyway, if we go to the next one here, we got to see that there is some news in here, some checkmark. Elon Musk has fired Twitter's entire accessibility division. You what? Those people whose job it is to think about the blind, deaf, and visually impaired people who use Twitter. No, I'm not being funny, but I thought, how, when I first read this, if you're blind and deaf, do you use Twitter? Or blind or deaf? Well, I suppose if you're deaf, it's not that hard, you just read it, but if you're blind,
Well, if you're blind, maybe there's like a special feature where it does like text to speech for you. But can you imagine the nightmare of scrolling through each of the tweets shouting at you?
He gives us an example. There's a lady. She like hovers her finger over her phone until it vibrates the right way, and then says what she's hovering over. And she gets on and she can like hover over tweets and it'll read it. It's really convoluted to say the least about how to get that up. If you go what I was talking about.
I'm not in. $8 is $8. Sorry.
If you go back to what I was talking about, we can see the person showing it, which is that you have the accessibility examples he gives. But
well, I mean, I'm not entirely against providing accessibility options to people with disabilities. The same.
But for how much?
The same with video games. Yeah, but that's the thing. Now it's
you've got 1,000 users and you got to spend $200,000 a year.
Yeah, that's the thing. Now he's running it like a business and aiming to not lose money, like Twitter has been doing constantly since it started. Yeah, you're going to have to take these cost-benefit analysis into account.
Yeah, actual money matters. And if we go to the next one here, we can see that there is some other news, which is apparently they want some of those back as well, like the employees who left, which is they've got 3,500 they fired, this Bloomberg article says. They gave them 3 months severance each.
That's not bad.
That's really good.
Especially, that's 3 months that you can just look for another job in, Silicon Valley.
It's incredibly generous. Elon Musk says it's 50% more than was legally required for them as well.
Oh, that's all right of him.
Yeah. And then saying that some of them apparently were fired in error but might be called back. I don't know what number that is. Probably not a lot, frankly.
Well, I saw the emails going around, and I imagine it was probably something that was automated on a certain side. There was 2 emails, one saying, like, sorry, your job's been affected by this, sorry, your job... and then the ones saying, happily, your job has not been affected by this. So I imagine there might have been some wires crossed and some emails got sent to the wrong people.
Maybe. But they say in here this is about Android, iOS stuff as well, so I doubt it even matters. But there we are. The verified checkmarks are getting taste of their own medicine, which is you're getting banned for breaking the rules. Except you actually broke the rules, unlike the writers who never broke the rules, so enjoy it. If you appreciated that segment from the podcast of the Lotus Eaters, you can go to lotuseaters.com to get access to all the premium content we have on the site, such as the book clubs we do, this one on Frank Dicotta's The Tragedy of Liberation. And if you'd like to find out what else we're putting out, you can follow us on Getter at lotuseaters_com on Getter. Thank you and goodbye.